Spoilers ahead. Watch out, and take care. The movie begins with looking at the ground from a woman's perspective. A man approaches and cuts some of her hair off, before dragging her body through the forest. He eventually throws her body into a pre-dug grave, and Tamara awakens in her bed. We eventually see someone replenishing the grave while another man attends to the truck. Tamara then takes a bath, and her mind appears to wander as she lies in the tub. When she returns home, her radio is already on, and she can hear the reporter discussing another disappearance in the area. There has apparently been a string of strange disappearances of local women, and no one has yet identified a suspect. Later, Tamara leaves her house and meets Jerry, an officer. He had just arrived to bring her a cup of coffee. He asks her about a second date, but she politely declines. When he asks what's the rush, she tells him she's going on a trip to the lake with some girlfriends. He stands on the front porch, looking around, and telling himself that he's in love. As Tamara drives to the lake, she receives a phone call from Maddie and Brooke, who are concerned about her whereabouts. She tries to make sure they don't start drinking without her as she's still driving toward them. Soon, she runs out of gas and must pull over to the side of the road. The truck from the gravesite pulls up behind her after the car turns off, and a man named Merv gets out to check on her. He leaves the other man, Kib, in the truck, and goes to Tamara's car with a canister of gas. Tamara tries to pretend to call her friends, and gives them a heads up while he fills her gas up. Merv and Kib look quite creepy, and since they are locals, they know where there is and isn't a signal. This way, they know that Tamara is scared of them and might consider kidnapping her. Nevertheless, Merv fills the gas, and she drives away for the lake, leaving them standing there just watching. She eventually makes it to the lake and runs into Brooke and Maddie. Once there, Maddie confesses her feelings for Brooke, and they do more shots. Brooke visits the boys next door and accepts their offer of shots, telling them they'll be going to a town that night to drink at the bar. We notice someone watching them from the bushes, as they rush back inside to get ready. Tamara notices a strange noise coming from outside as the girls prepare to leave for town. The girls carefully walk around the house when they notice Jerry at their door. He has brought Tamara flowers and was concerned when she did not return his calls. She explains that she doesn't have signal and promises to call when the weekend is over. When Brooke and Maddie return inside, they begin hazing Tamara about dating the officer. Still, they eventually leave to go into town. As the car accelerates out of the driveway, whoever follows it does the same. Once inside, the girls order some tequila shots, and Maddie goes to the bathroom while Tamara and Brooke dance on the dance floor. Soon, Tamara goes to check on Maddie, but once she gets there, the girl who is standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom asks if they would like a bump. Maddie takes precautions to prevent Tamara from informing Brooke first. After they return to the bar and find a seat, the bartender prepares 3 shots for the girls, and the man who appears to offer them the drinks puts something into each of their shots. When the ladies inquire as to who is offering them, the bartender makes an effort to reveal their identity, however they have already left. After a night out with friends, during which she drinks and dances, Tamara starts to feel the effects of the drink. She manages to sneak out of the house and make it to the parking lot, but 2 men appear and grab her just as she gets there. When she tries to turn around, she is seated in the back of a pickup truck and is shielded from view by a tarp. She pulls off the tarp and sits up to examine her surroundings before continuing. As soon as she realizes that she is being transported to the middle of the forest, she immediately jumps out of the truck and crawls under it. Shortly after, the men come back with another, and at that point, they realize that she has gotten away. They looked for her, despite the fact that they knew she couldn't have traveled very far. She lets out a primal scream as the men locate her under the vehicle and pull her out. She drives the men away from her, climbing over the fence and getting away from the scene. Before she is knocked out by one of the men, she makes an attempt to use her phone while she is out in the field. She finds that she is being held captive in a barn when she comes to. After a long wait, she is relieved to see the men, and she immediately recognizes Merv and Kib from earlier. While they are stripping her, Pa tells her that the Lord has a plan for her future. The men begin to make jokes about her being a witch, but as soon as she begins to convulse, they begin to take their jokes seriously. When she simply throws up on them, they laugh it off and decide to deal with her at a later time. They attempt to explain to Kib that the witch talk was just her being messed up as a result of stuff that they gave her, but he is skeptical of their explanation. Tamara returns to the barn and attempts to call Jerry with her feet, but her phone dies in the process. Meanwhile, Merv is overjoyed at the prospect of having Tamara, but a woman in white walks by him in the field, which he doesn't notice. When he gets in his truck to leave, he gets the scare of his life. When the woman in white appears in front of him, his first and immediate reaction is to run her over. Then Merv gets out of the car and checks on the woman under the car, who has disappeared in a strange way. Later that night, the men sit down to eat, and Pa says grace. Merv and Kib watch a televangelist after dinner, while Pa goes to his prayer room. While he's inside, he opens a chest containing hair from all of the previous victims, and rubs himself with it, until he hears footsteps outside his door. He comes out to threaten the boys for disturbing his time, but they don't move. When he returns to his prayer room, someone has been in there, and Kib swears it's the curse. Pa and Merv return to Tamara, but she is safe where they left her. They check on them one last time before rushing back to the house, because they hear additional sounds coming from one of the other stalls. The men fail to recognize the capabilities of the woman. In fact, she has spent the entire time by herself. Jerry is about to eat his dinner in town, when he notices that he has a brief voicemail on his phone. Even though there isn't much to go on, it's enough for him to be concerned. After Tamara's phone is immediately transferred to voicemail, he grabs his jacket and leaves the house. After some time has passed, Kib manages to sneak away to speak with Tamara in private, and explains the reasoning behind their actions. He claims that everything is being done in the name of the Lord. She tries to convince him that the Lord does not want him to act in such a way as to cause harm to others. He begins to question whether or not she is still a witch, as she tries to convince him that none of it is true. When she reassures him that she is not, he lets out a sigh of relief, because he is now confident that she will be taken to heaven as soon as they are done with her. While this is going on, Merv is sound asleep in his bed, and the unknown woman dressed all in white enters the room. He is startled awake from the pleasure he believes to be a dream, when the woman screams in his face and scratches him. He had been enjoying the dream for some time. When he goes to check on his grandfather, he finds him in his prayer room, which has been disturbed in some way. On the wall, there are posters of all of the girls who have gone missing, a message has been written, and the cross has been inverted. Pa reveals to the boys that he has a scratch on his face when he turns around, and tells them that Tamara is the Antichrist. The following morning, all three of the men take her to the nearby barn to get her ready for the baptism that will take place later that day. They dunk her in the water, until she decides to let God into her heart, and when they take her back into the barn, they discover totems hanging in her cell. Kib tells Pa that he does not want to finish the hole for her, because he knows she is not going to be an angel, but Pa is unyielding and orders Kib to finish anyway. When Jerry gets back to town, the first thing he does is head to the bar to ask about Tamara. Although the bartender remembers her, he is unable to provide a lot of information about the customers who bought her drinks. Tamara flies back to the farm, where she unhooks herself, and grabs a pitchfork from a nearby shed. When Kib finds out that she has gotten herself into trouble, she defends him while trying to persuade him that he has been working for the devil the whole time. As a last-ditch effort to prove his devotion to the Lord, he picks up Tamara's pitchfork and offers himself up as a sacrifice, so that he can be with God in heaven. When Merv comes out, he sees Tamara climbing out of the grave Kib dug, and he immediately runs after her. He is determined to catch her. Pa has returned to the house while they are making their escape into the woods, and he hears a woman screaming after she finds Kib's body. At one point, a female gives him a start by screaming hysterically at him. It turns out that she is Maddie, one of Tamara's closest friends. When Pa's body is being carried away, Maddie and Brooke appear as two women dressed in white. In the meantime, Tamara lures Merv to a boulder, where she lets him chase her, before leaping onto it and attempting to stab Merv with Kib's pocket knife. When it seems like Merv has the upper hand, she strikes him in the head with a nearby rock to throw him off balance. In the evening, the three young women bring Pa and Merv's bodies outside, so they can participate in a ritual. They then inform the men that they have been caught in their trap, after awakening them with a soaking from the water spray. They admit to watching them and intend to do to them what they've done to all the other girls. They tell them they're going to play a game called 16 Angels, which is the number of women they've assaulted there over the years. Pa tries to flee as they give the men 16 seconds to get away, but they catch him. As he moves in that direction, Jerry hears shots and calls for backup. Merv tries to break free, but he's simply too slow. Jerry soon appears, and the girls play the victim perfectly for him. As he transports them to safety, the screen fades to black. We return to town. Tamara checks her email and discovers that Brooke has sent her a picture of another missing girl. Tamara mentions that it's time for another girls' trip. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this. Turn on the notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out.